Gone into business, done a series of businesses, a soft drink vending business that was sold, a drug and alcohol rehab chain that was sold, and then we did a cardiac monitoring business, and we also did a chain of physical therapy clinics. I was a workaholic. I really loved what I did and did it intensely.
It wasn't a healthy thing how much he was working, and so I just said to him, I'm like, I am moving. This is not healthy. If you want to come, okay, but this is not healthy. We have to do something.
In '97, when we moved back to Michigan, and Linda was studying Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby, and I thought, I should probably do a Bible study. I get through like the first 2 chapters, and it's like about actually God engaging you and you engaging in what God wants to do. And I was like, I don't have time for that. I got other things to do, and so I put the Bible study up, didn't think about it. I was standing in our family room, and I heard an audible voice that said, you need to go to India with my friend. I had never had that experience. I have not had it since. It was a one-time event, but it was just absolutely shocking to me. And so I called my friend's home, and the lady's name was Jan. I said, Jan, is Don home? She goes, no, he's in India, he'll be home tomorrow. I said, well, okay, I heard a voice told me to go to India with Don. She goes, oh, okay, I'll tell him. Click. Later that day, she sends me an email, and the email says, you might want to look at Experiencing God, chapter 8. It's really helped Don and I in our ministry. So I go and I look over by the television, a stack of magazines and the Bible studies there. I pull it out, open it up. Chapter 8, are you ready to give up everything and do what God wants you to do? So Don came back from India. We went to breakfast. He goes, well, Tom, you can go to India with me. And 3 weeks later, we landed in Mumbai. So we went to 5 cities in 10 days and met with dozens of ministries. So then we start meeting the ministry partners. And from a personal, spiritual standpoint, it was revolutionary. And from that point, really felt like I was called to start a business in India. From my first trip to when the business was started was 90 days. So we did transcription for 10 years, and in the interim we started doing software development and moved into exclusively software development a few years later.
The kids got to see a lot of what was going on all around the world firsthand by stories from people that came and stayed with us.
When EC Group started, I was in high school, and we got to hear about this cool stuff that was going on, like in India with some ministry stuff, and it was really interesting to me, but I didn't really understand like what business as mission was.
We got together a plan to offer a college internship to take people overseas and introduce them to what we'd classified as business as mission. We did that for 5 years. Over 100 students were impacted.
All of the stuff that I had witnessed, in the past was really kind of coming to light and like, oh, that's what business as mission is. That's really interesting.
At first we thought we were paying sort of a tax for being a Christian company and loving people, and that was, gosh, it's gonna hit the bottom line. But we found out it was actually a competitive advantage. People stayed with us. We didn't have the turnover of our staff. We had people that, built deep loyalties. We felt there was a huge impact that represented Christ in that process.
Obviously, we have our core staff, the management team that I know well, and I see the joy they have in their work, and at times I see the sacrifices that they're making even in their professional lives to stay with us.
We had a developer that had been with us a few years, and he got out and got another job offer, and he came back and was ready to turn in his resignation. And so we get in this negotiation, to try and, meet what he needs so he can continue to work with us, and end up successfully doing that. And it was a pay increase, plus it was like a signing bonus. So, he goes, okay, I'm gonna work with you, but, and I like the salary, but the signing bonus, I don't want you to give it to me. I want you to give it to this ministry that we support that deals with highly disabled children. And it was like, oh my gosh, here's a guy, and in the context of Indian people, he was making a family financial decision. This guy wasn't a Christian, but he had been with our company events to go out and see these kids and deal with this these issues, and his heart was just warmed to that. You know, it's like, wow, I want to be part of that.
All of a sudden you're hearing a story about Daniel, our HR director. He starts putting things into the Google Calendar, and every single Saturday is full. And it's events that he's doing. He's created a small organization that's called You Are Loved, and it's about reaching people that are either underprivileged or different or cast out.
And I think beyond that, it really, over the years, it has been God doing crazy things that we would not have ever really imagined. I mean, we can talk about ministry outreach things, we can put these plans in place, but ultimately God takes, things in different ways than you ever imagined.
What's changed in that 20 years is who's really in charge. Prior to that, I felt much more in control, and God has demonstrated to me that, you're not in control. But in business, you're sort of expected to be in control. You're judged by whether you're in control. You're judged by whether you're successful or not. And the reality is, many times, the success of the business is not fully dependent on you. It's dependent on events that are beyond your control. So God controls those things. You recognize the power of God and what He's doing in people's lives. And you see God's people, you can see them clearer.